All right, here we go. We are at the balance. You know what? This is so much fun. We do this every year, our balance mock draft, and we have a lot of fun with it. And outside of maybe doing some recordings here and there, this is the only one that you'll ever catch us doing at night. It's usually during the day on a Saturday morning, a Sunday morning, or what have you. But we have got in store for you our annual mock draft, 2026 mock draft. And we have got two of my most esteemed people on the team. You know how they say surround people that make you look good? That's exactly what I've done. Adam Jividen, our Super Browns fan, Super Cavaliers fan, Super Guardians fan, Super Buckeyes fan, great prognosticator, great dad, and fresh back from Ireland, Adam Jividen, Ed Kratz, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles and SI.com, and our official NFL contributor. And of course, myself and Melissa, our official social media director and producer, and all when everything gets dropped and all the social media stuff in the background. Melissa handles that, so she's also in with us today, and we have got the best. And I told this to Adam. I mean, I told this to Ed, Adam, before we started, that we're going to send this out to all 32 teams, and they're going to put it in the war room. And Howie's going to become best friends with Ed. So this is a win-win situation for everybody. So we are super excited to do this. We're super excited to start this. So without further ado, Adam, you are the official. The pick is in, coach. Whatever controller,
the draft MC,
the
master
draft
ceremonies,
MC, and the pick is in. We don't have the annoying chimes, but we'll let you play Roger Goodell or whatever. The pick is in.
Listen, as long as I don't get like bear hugged by like a 6'8" offensive tackle, I'm good.
How many times does that happen?
It's now a thing. It's every year. It's now it's a thing. So. I'm looking forward to the draft here up on Thursday. But the way that we'll rotate is it'll start off with Tom at pick 1. Ed will be picking pick 2. I will go pick 3. We're going to only have time for maybe a sentence or two per pick. Really what we're going to be looking to do is then break down the full draft either Sunday or early next week with some winners and losers. We'll specifically highlight the Eagles, the Browns, the Colts, anybody else that wants to get highlighted. We may, could dip into some of the key players that landed in different places, such as players at Ohio State, at IU, and just really talk about fits, good fits, natural fits, winners, losers, the whole 9. So we'll delve into that more later. So we're going to try to keep it tight today. So with that being said, the Raiders are on the clock, but this is the most obvious pick ever. Everybody knows who it's going to be. Tom, take it away.
Well, obviously everybody's going to be knows who it's going to be, but I got to say this. I'm an IU fan. I'm an IU guy. I couldn't be more excited than have the number 1 pick. And it was by design. I'm the host and the guy going number 1 overall to Las Vegas. It's a 99% chance Fernando Mendoza goes to Las Vegas Raiders. He's not even going to the draft. He has a 99% chance of going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, all the mock drafts concur, but we are the one to listen to. So there you go. That's it for me for the first pick. Next, Adam, who's up next?
Up next are the New York Jets on the clock. Ed, you are picking for the New York Jets. Their team needs would be quarterback, edge, wide receiver, and corner.
Yeah, well, with the second pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the New York Jets are going to take David Bailey, an edge rusher from Texas Tech. The Jets had 26 sacks last year and 0 interceptions, 17 games. Never been done before, 0 interceptions. So what better way to try to get at least 1 interception in 2026 is to bring pressure on the quarterback, speed up his internal clock, and get a sack. So I'm going David Bailey.
So awesome. The next team on the clock are the Arizona Cardinals. I'll be picking for the Arizona Cardinals. They have a ton of needs all over the place. O-line, edge, D-tackle. I think this one is going to stay close to home for me. I understand they have needs at O-line, but Arvell Reese is an absolute monster. I think there's a lot of toss-up that the Jets are looking at between Bailey and Reese. So I'm going to take Arvell Reese, the standout edge rusher from Ohio State. to the Jets, or excuse me, to the Cardinals at number 3, which puts the Tennessee Titans on the clock. Tom, you are picking for the Tennessee Titans. Their needs consist of O-line, edge, wide receiver, and running back. And even though that one is last, it is first in our hearts.
Well, here's the thing. I was talking to my boss, who happens to be a big Tennessee Titans fan, lives down there in Nashville. And, he wanted to see Sonny Styles come, but I have to make another decision. And this is going to be a tight decision because I think it is going to come down to it. And again, we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love's stock is just sizzling closer to where we need to get to in the NFL. Some mock drafts have him going in the inside top 3, but most models have him going to the Tennessee Titans. So my pick is Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame, Fighting Irish.
Awesome. That is the one first-round running back. There's maybe Mike Washington down the road later, but we'll see. I don't think so, but we'll see how it all plays out. So up next is the New York Giants with the first of their 2 top 10 selections. Ed, you're on the board with the first Giants pick. They have, after the trade, they own 5 and 10, and now they have a huge need at defensive line as well as O-line, linebacker, and wide receiver. Where are we going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a receiver here. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate, Ohio State. Give their quarterback.
That's a good one.
In his second year, give him another target to go with Malik Neighbors, who, of course, got injured last year. So Carnell Tate will help that new John Harbaugh installed offense.
All right. So on the clock now are my one and only Cleveland Browns. They're the only, because nobody else would want to root this sincerely for teams this bad constantly. But the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Our needs are wide receiver, O-line, cornerback, quarterback. Given the fact that Carnell Tate, that was probably the direction we were going to go. Ideally, I think the Browns would love to trade down, but the fact that we don't have trade downs available in this draft, I am going to actually dip down into the offensive tackle, take the first tackle off of the board. It's a little bit of a gamble. He's got to have some time to develop. But I'm actually going to take Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle from Georgia. He has all the measurables. Ideally, I'd love to see the Browns get that one coming. 12, but that is where we are going. I don't like Monroe. I don't like Fano or Moagawa. I think they're going to convert to guards. Freeling looks like the best upside at offensive tackle.
Whew, that's a shocker right out of the gate. I like the pick, though. I like Freeling. I think you're right about that, Adam. I think he's going to be the best tackle in this draft.
So, Adam, let me ask you this. How many times did you have to practice the order here to get to the Browns so that you had the Browns on the next pick?
Well, I knew that it was 6, so I just had to divide by 2. So it wasn't that hard.
Much better at math than me.
I'm still confused, but
that's okay. That's all right. So up next is Tom with the Washington Commanders. They have a wide receiver, edge, O-line, and defensive back with a certain really good one on the board still available.
Well, here's the thing. Ed took my Carnell Tate, who I was really going to look forward to going with him on this overall pick, and it's going to be close between the other two. We've already got Jeremiah Love, so obviously I've got to go with Sonny Styles. But the Commanders could use some offensive help, but Styles is too good of a player to pass up, especially considering I almost call them the commies, but you really shouldn't say them. That's not very politically correct. So Commanders gave up 5th most yards per carry. Styles was a star at the combine and has great instincts as a run stopper as well as a coverage linebacker. So Sonny Styles is who I got from Ohio State.
All right. So Sonny Styles is off of the board at pick number 7. So pick number 8 are the New Orleans Saints. Ed, you are on the board. Their needs are wide receiver, edge, corner, and D-line.
Yeah, just like I went with a receiver for the Giants' second-year quarterback. I think the Saints need another receiver to pair with Chris Olave for Tyler Shuck, their second-year quarterback. And I think that would, on my board here, that would be Jordan Tyson, receiver from Arizona.
Are you concerned with the Jordan Tyson perpetual hamstring issues?
Well, of course I am. But, what are you going to do? All these players that we're drafting and these teams are going to draft, they all have issues. And,
Sure.
It's just a matter of how you evaluate the issues and the medical. But no, I think he might even be the best receiver in this draft ahead of Cornell Tate. But I think, he's in that mix of being one of the top 5 at least.
Yeah.
And
I think those are the clear number 2. Those are the clear top 2. The concern that I just have on Jordan Tyson is the medicals. He hasn't had a injury-free season since his junior year of high school, which is very concerning.
So he's due, is what you're saying. He's due.
That's right. So he's going to be like Steph Curry, where he gets hurt his whole career and then never gets hurt again.
Right. Could happen.
That's right. And the Saints would be thrilled. All right. So up next are the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of a huge trade that they had with the Rams, but also a really disappointing season there in Kansas City. Their needs are cornerback, wide receiver, edge, and running back. And with Jeremiah Love off to the Tennessee Titans, he is the most hand-in-glove fit for the offense. I think for the defensive side of the ball, Chiefs just made as I mentioned, a huge trade with the Rams. So I actually have them taking the number 1 cornerback on our board, Mansour Delane from LSU.
Coming off an ACL, right? Is that him or no? That's the other kid from Tennessee, Jermon McCoy.
That's McCoy did. Delane was injury free. That's Tennessee and LSU. Yeah. Mansour Delane's a monster.
Yeah. I've seen LSU play, man. He's good.
All right. So up next is Tom on the board at pick number 10 with the second Giants pick. Keep in mind, for their first pick, Ed had them taking Cornell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Their needs are really, the next 3 would be defensive line, offensive line, as well as linebacker. Go ahead, Tom.
So here's one that I'm having some dilemmas over, but I do like Spencer Fano, but I think I'm going to go with Caleb Downs, 21%. I think that's who. Ooh. He's not picked yet, but let's go with Caleb Downs and the number 10 overall pick.
It's the Ohio State Giants. Is that what's happening here?
The Giants invested in Harbaugh's defense with number 5 pick, and now I don't know. Maybe Spencer Fano is the better pick, but I've already made my pick with Caleb Downs. So I'm going to go with that.
You're not going to get an argument out of me. I think Caleb Downs is the best overall player in this draft.
So there we go.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna.
They can start making his. They can make his bust in Canton right now.
Because he went to the Ohio State University.
That's right.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
Yep. So we've got the Caleb Downs going to the New York Giants. Really, if you think about what John Harbaugh is trying to put together, he gives him a back end stopper similar to what the Ravens had for years. And I mean, the Ravens have had monster safeties for how long? I mean, way back. So I think it makes sense that the Giants would be looking safety. Up next are the Miami Dolphins. Ed, they need help everywhere. Wide receiver, corner, edge, O-line. They overpaid for a quarterback.
Put a blindfold on and throw a dart.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just do the best player available. Now, it's interesting. I saw a draft today, and a Sports Illustrated writer had the Eagles trading up to 11 with the Dolphins to get Caleb Downs, but in this draft, Caleb Downs is gone one spot before. The Eagles would have had that chance. I don't even know if that trade will happen, but anyway, so at 11 now, the Dolphins are there, and they have needs all across the board. And I love Reuben Bain. I love their edge rusher, Reuben Bain. I know his arms aren't really the longest in the world, but man, I watched Miami play a lot of football games this year, and I think Reuben Bain, the University of Miami, he stays home and goes to the Miami Dolphins. I love the way he plays, aggressive, and I think he'll be a great fit on the edge to replace some of the guys that the Dolphins lost outside on the edge in that defense.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I think from Reuben Bain's perspective, that my concern is the dude's got a great motor. That arm length is a big question. And frankly, a good defensive line coach can help him overcome that. So we'll see what happens with Reuben Bain. It's a great pick. Up next are Ed's beloved Dallas Cowboys, right? The Dallas Cowboys are on the board Their needs are edge, linebacker, cornerback, D-line, and unfortunately, we can't add owner to the draft list. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that would be on the minds of every Cowboys fan wanting to see Jerry Jones shipped off to the closest nursing home. But with what the Cowboys have on the board, we've got a lot of edge rushers still available. You got Keldrick Falk from Auburn, TJ Parker from Clemson. Linebacker, it's a little too early to dip back into that list. We did see cornerback Jermod McCoy have a blistering time at his 40. I think had McCoy not had this ACL injury, I think he would be fighting for a top 10 spot. So I think that's a spot that we could see him. Here's the thing, though. If you're going to think like Jerry Jones likes names and likes he likes big name schools. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, McCoy coming off of an injury a big enough name? I don't really know. I think one of the other things that they have to look to do is they have seen a lot of their what used to be a stout offensive line start to fall apart. So I'm looking at actually back-to-back Miami picks, and Francis Muigoa from the University of Miami is going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
That's a good pick, Adam. I mean, I would have stuck with Jermone McCoy out of Tennessee, because who's listening to this.
I do.
But no, let me ask you this, Ed, and I don't want to get too far off on the weeds because we're on the time clock here. But I mean, a lot of people think, and a lot of conversations that I've been listening to this week is Jerry Jones really wants to trade up for Sonny Styles. Now, I know in our draft, I already picked him for the Commanders. But what do you think? You think that because Jerry Jones has already committed that he's going to back up the Brinks truck and do whatever it takes. Do you think he's going to try to make a move for Sonny Styles?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think he reminds Jerry Jones a lot of Micah Parsons. So, he loved Parsons, so I could see that happening. I think the Cowboys are going to go defense in this draft. I understand, Adam, you're right. Their offensive line has shown some cracks, but boy, their defense was just dreadful last year. And now they have a new DC with the former Eagles DB coach, Christian Parker, coming in. Love him. I think he's a great coach, but he needs talent. And I just think they'll go defense in the first round. But, you can't argue with an offensive tackle. Those guys, they're like gold bars, man. It's one of the most important positions on the field. So,
yeah. And I think my thought process with Muigoa is he can also play inside. And then as he gets older and Smith ultimately comes off of the books for the Cowboys, he can kick back outside.
Yeah.
He's like an instant day one starter. I know they need defense. And frankly, I think the Cowboys are going to try to trade in. I would be thrilled if, for example, they traded with the Browns. The Browns slid to 12, and then they drafted Freeling there. But I'm just looking at they've still got to keep Dak under contract for a while, and the only way that they're going to win is to keep him upright. And there was a lot of games where Dak was running for his life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I get it. But that offense is really good, man. But
Jerry also leans offense in round one, like all the time. I think I saw a chart that said that he drafts offense in 70% of round ones.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it all pans out. We got to move on. Go ahead, Adam.
So the next pick, Tom, you are on the board with the pushing the chips all in. Los Angeles Rams. Their needs are wide receiver, O-line, linebacker, edge. Tom, there is a big receiver from Bloomington staring you on the board. Are you going that direction?
I mean, if you're talking about, are you talking about Jordan Tyson?
No, he's gone. Omar Cooper.
No, that wasn't who I had.
To the Rams everywhere.
I mean, I was looking at him, but I'm just okay. You're right. All chips in. You would want to go with him, but that wouldn't be my pick. No. Okay. I mean, who I like is wide receiver Mikael Lemon out of USC. All signs point to the Rams adding a receiver. If it doesn't deal the number 13, the Rams don't have to look as far as another spot. So they need to compliment Puka Nacua. And Devontae Adams, 5'11". I mean, Lemon just slides in the slot and follows the path of Cooper Kupp, which we know is not going to be with the Rams anymore. So let's go ahead and go with my pick. Live and die by it, but I got to go with Mikael Lemon going to the Rams and the number 13 pick.
All right, so we've got Mekhi Lemon. We've got the former Cleveland Browns, otherwise known as the Baltimore Ravens. Ed, you are on the clock with the Ravens. Their needs are O-line, wide receiver, edge, and tight end.
Yeah, I'm going to go O-line. I think they have to get tougher up front. And the Penn State guard, Vega Ione.
That guy's a monster.
Yeah, he is. And again, if the Eagles can get up, I know they really like him. They've had him in for a visit. But yeah, I like Vega Ione. Hasn't given up a sack, I don't think, in 808 pass attempts. I thought I saw Football Focus put that out there. So yeah, I'm going Ione here for the Ravens.
I think that's a great pick. The other one that is seemingly getting mocked a lot to them as their offensive skill position players, Mark Andrews gets older. I've seen a lot of picks of
Sadiq
to them. Yeah,
I've seen that too.
So up next, I'm on the clock with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They need help all over the defense: edge, corner, linebacker, O-line. Really, for me, this comes down to, do I like Keldrick Falk, who I like quite a bit, but I just watched the Bucs just get picked apart time after time in the secondary. And I'm going to go with Jermod McCoy. We had set our draft board before McCoy's pro day where he just came out and smoked it. I think he ran like a 4.24. So I'm going to go Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee, joining Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Way to right or wrong there, Adam. Way to right or wrong.
Trying.
Hey, go ahead. I got to wait till I'm officially introduced. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're up next. So, Tom, the New York Jets are back on the clock. You had, Ed had their first pick when they took David Bailey, the standout edge from Texas Tech. So they still have needs at quarterback, wide receiver, as well as corner. But really, you could probably pick darn near anywhere, and the Jets have problems.
Well, this gives me a great opportunity, and I'm glad that I get this pick because this is the pick that they stole from the Colts. Sauce Gardner is the reason why the Colts don't have a first-round pick. And we will go on that rant on another day because I don't have the time. And so we won't have a first-round pick with the Colts because of Sauce Gardner. But that said, revenge cometh me, I say. You mentioned earlier I should pick Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper goes to the Jet.
Cooper to the Jets.
A fast riser who helped Indiana to a national championship, and he's mocked by the Jets everywhere. So why not? You take away our number one. We're going to give you somebody from Indiana, Indiana University, to be a wide receiver at the Jets. Omar Cooper to the Jets.
All right. So up next are the Detroit Lions. Ed, you are on the board. Their needs are O-line, edge, safety, and corner. I would like to point out Spencer Fano, everybody's almost unanimous number one offensive lineman, still on the board. At edge, we still have Falk Parker from Clemson, as well as Akeem Messidor from Miami.
Yeah, well, you got me with Fano. That's who I'm going to go with. I think that the Lions have said they want to move Penei Sewell over to left tackle, which opens a spot at right tackle, and Spencer Fano can slide right in at that right tackle spot. And from day one, be a starter. He's very good, and so I think that's where the Lions will go in that direction. Spencer Fano at number 16, is it? 17.
Yes, 17. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a ton of sense, especially after the Lions moved on from Taylor Decker. He came off of a season-ending knee injury this last year, hasn't really signed anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get picked up by somewhere into the season once we see some of the offensive line injuries that inevitably will happen. Spencer Fano, I think, you want to talk value pick, that's about as good as it gets for the Lions. I think the fighting ankle biters are going to be really excited about Fano coming in. He's not only deep at tackle, he can also play guard and has played center as well at Utah. So up next are the Minnesota Vikings. I'm on the clock. Their needs are D-line, O-line, safety, and wide receiver. Wide receiver is pretty well wiped out. D-line, again, we've kind of mentioned this is a really deep draft for the defensive line. Player that I think is a really good fit for the Vikings, given how they play, is Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. I have him as my number 3 Edge rusher, I have Ruben Bain a little bit lower, again, because of the measurables that he tested on at the combine. He actually had the third shortest arms of any edge predicted in the top 10 since 1970, which is a little bit scary for me. But I do like Keldrick Falk. I think he can play inside. I think he can play outside. And he reminds me a lot of Derek Brown with the Carolina Panthers, also ironically from Auburn.
Yeah, I like Keldrick. He's got great size. There's no doubt. His production doesn't always match what you see on tape, but I think he's certainly, again, these are prospects, and everybody's got the warts, and it's just a matter of how you develop them.
I think he was also an instance where Auburn was so bereft of talent on defense that teams just either ran away from him or double teamed him every snap.
Yeah, makes sense.
So up next, Tom, with the surprisingly out the gate, made the playoffs, Carolina Panthers. They have O-line, safety, wide receiver, tight end.
Man, I tell you what, this is another team that I'm glad I got to pick. It's my granddaughter's favorite team. My crew. I got a crew in Missouri. I got a crew in North Carolina. So I got Kansas City merch, and I got Panthers merch. And so I got to do something for my granddaughter. But what a better way to kick off Bryce Young's future than let me pick the first tight end off the board, going to Keon Sadiq out of Oregon, Carolina Panthers. I think they call him Sadiq the Freak. He may not slide this far back, so we'll see how that goes with the other picks in the real draft. Again, we're doing this on a Tuesday night, but I think Sadiq has a very strong chance of going to the Carolina Panthers, and I'll be the one that gets a Sadiq jersey for my granddaughter.
Sounds good. Kenyon Sadiq is had the best combine of any tight end prospect we've ever seen. Ran the fastest 40-yard dash, had the best 3-cone shuttle, as well as the best vertical leap. My concern with Sadiq is he's really raw when it comes to running routes. He's got to really work on the technique of the position. Who cares if he can block? Travis Kelce doesn't block a lick and is going to Canton in the first ballot. So I'm good with. I think Kenyon Sadiq could be outstanding if he can really hone in on the technical aspects of the position. So we've got Ed on the clock once again with the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll just call it the Ed Dallas Cowboy pick night.
Well, you had the other pick. No,
that's true.
He took
I had the other pick.
That's true.
I took Moigala. So they still have a lot of needs on the defense. There are still a lot of really good defensive players available. We've got some edges with TJ Parker, Akeem Mesidor. All the defensive tackles are still on the board. Anthony Hill from Texas, Avion Terrell, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think you're leaning defense, Ed. Where are you going?
Oh, yeah, I'm leaning defense. I'm trying to see here who might be the best fit with what is left. And, I really like the safety, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. I think, if he's sitting there for the Cowboys, it might be Dylan Thieneman. That's who I'll go with here. But, there are linebackers, Texas kid, Anthony Hill. I really like him a lot. The Cowboys could go that direction, or Avion Terrell, like you said, a corner from Clemson. But I think, Dylan Thieneman in my on my board has a higher ranking than those two guys. Yeah, so I'm going
I think him and McNeil-Warren are like neck and neck. They play the positions very differently. I think it makes a ton of sense. Thieneman plays a lot more like crap. He played for the Rams, won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Big old beard.
How soon we forget? I know he's on the broadcast now.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a brain part on that.
No, it's okay. I mean, but he plays a lot like them. Whereas McNeil-Warren plays a lot like super safety for the Seattle Seahawks. Nick Emanwori, who was a rookie last year. So finished second.
Are you thinking of Eric Weddle? I'm sorry.
Eric Weddle.
Eric
Yes.
Weddle. Okay.
Sure
Yes.
All right.
Great job.
Ed for the win. There.
I was like, but I watched Dylan Thieneman and I see Eric Weddle.
And he's the oldest of all of us, and he's got the better memory. So there you go.
Yes. So up next on the clock are, for me, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This couldn't be any more on purpose if I would have done it myself. The Pittsburgh Steelers are an interesting case. Obviously, they need quarterback. They keep on rolling out old dudes that suck. as well as edge players. They've got obviously TJ Watt, absolute all-world linebacker. They need defensive tackle. They need corners. This one's tough. I have been saying forever. I just literally since the season started, I feel like at some point Pittsburgh has to invest in the quarterback of the future. Their roster is too good to be a bottom 10 team next year. I think we're going to pull the trigger. I think it's an overdraft, but I think they're going to take Ty Simpson, the quarterback of Alabama.
Ooh, wow.
I like it. We'll see. That's a reach, but that's not bad, Adam, actually.
The thing is, it is, but they have to invest in quarterback at some point. Kenny Pickett was a fail. They can't keep rolling out 40-year-olds or Russell Wilson. I mean, like they have to try at some point. And again, next year's draft class is going to be loaded at the quarterback position. You can't assume that teams are going to want to give up valuable draft slots for you to go get a quarterback. Like, the quarterbacks are going to come at a premium next year. I think next year, depending on how the league shakes out, I think we could see 5 top 10 quarterbacks next year.
Oh, so you don't think the Steelers will wait because they won't be in the top 10?
They're not going to be. I don't think so. I think they're going to. I mean, if you look at the rosters, they're the best roster in the AFC North still.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the Steelers will have a new coach next year.
They've got a new coach, and a new coach is going to want to. I mean, here's the thing: if there's a quarterback or a coach that can get a lot out of Ty Simpson, I think it's Mike McCarthy.
He was singing the praises of Will Howard after their workout today. I saw that he likes Will Howard's footwork. So I don't know. Yeah,
I think if anything, they need to not have to rely on Aaron Rodgers for a season or two. And I think if you take a quarterback here, again, Will Howard was a 4th rounder. If you draft Simpson and Simpson can play all right and Will Howard wins the job, you could still trade Simpson and get something out of him later. I just think they got to have bites at the apple. That's not old guys. Also, I love Will Howard. I've watched every snap that Will Howard played. I've watched every snap that Will Howard has played from the Ohio State National Championship game series at least 3 times. And Will Howard is not a long-term successful NFL quarterback. I hate to say it, but it's true.
You never saw him in high school, though. I saw him in high school. He's a Philly kid. He played against the high school that's in my district. So I've seen him play. He was a big, slow kid back then, but he had a great arm. So we'll see how that footwork has come along with Mike McCarthy.
Guys, I got to play the host real quick. We're 5 minutes from time. We're fine to go.
We're good. We're good.
Okay, I'm good on time. Because after we do this, we're going to just do a quick showcase of. I'll do the Colts. He'll do the Ed will do the Eagles, and you'll do the Browns. Just quick showcase. Nothing long, nothing big.
Yep.
But just so you know, we are running up on time, but we're good to move through the last few here. So everybody good?
We're good.
All right.
We'll keep it tight. We'll go rapid fire. Up next, Tom with the Los Angeles Chargers. Their names are O-line, edge, D-line, defensive back.
Here's the thing. I like the Chargers, and this is one of those situations where you've got to be strategic in who you pick. And they could go O-line or D-line at this spot, but I like TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson. I mean, a lot of people are leaning toward some other players, but I mean, honestly, you need a defensive lineman. TJ Parker is that guy. Why not? So TJ Parker out of Clemson goes to the Chargers.
All right. So we've got Ed on the board with your Philadelphia Eagles. They need edge, which there's not much left. O-line, safety, wide receiver with the potential impending trade of A.J. Brown.
Well, they did a good job in the offseason here kind of filling that. They traded for Wicks. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. It's tough list. But the Packers guy, they traded for him. They signed Elijah Moore. They signed Hollywood Brown. So, I think they'll grab a receiver later in the draft. Right now, I'm going offensive line. It's a big concern. You have Landon Dickerson, who contemplated retiring due to injury, 27 years old. Who knows how much future he has. You have Tyler Steen entering the last year of his rookie deal. And then you have Lane Johnson, 36 years old, who's going to probably retire maybe at the end of this year. So I'm going offensive line. And the best one to me at this point is Caden Proctor from Alabama. His weight's a little bit of a concern. I know he's been as high as 400 pounds. He plays at about 350, 355. I hated the weight on Devontae Smith when he came out at 165 pounds. I thought that was too light, but Devontae's proven me wrong. So maybe Caden Proctor will prove me wrong, and his weight won't be a factor as well. I'll go Proctor here.
Caden Proctor?
Yeah.
I mean, despite his size, that boy is an athletic marvel. Watching him catching swing passes out of the backfield and try to barrel in for like a long third down. This one's really easy for me. With the Browns on the clock again, we went offensive lineman with Monroe Freeling in the first pick at number 6. They need a wide receiver. This is the guy I hope is the pick if the draft were to shake out this way. Casey Concepcion, the blazing wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Had a little bit of issues with the drops, but his get off is world class.
Good pick.
Good pick. I like that, Adam. Good one.
Thank you. All right, Tom, you are on the clock with the Chicago Bears. Their needs would be safety, O-line, D-line, edge.
Well, D-line edge is really where they got to be at. Defensive line is where they got to be at. And, the Bears got bullied by opposing runs for 5 yards per carry. So, you got to go with another Ohio State guy here. Defensive tackle
Caden freaking McDonald. That's my guy.
Go. Yeah, absolutely. And, drafting McDonald plugs up the interior and helps stops the bleeding on the ground. And he's regarded as one of the top defensive tackles in the draft. So, this was an easy pick for me. Caden McDonald with the Ohio State.
Awesome. So up next, we've got Ed on the board with the Buffalo Bills. Their needs are edge, O-line, linebacker, and defensive back.
I'll go Akeem Mesidor from Miami. He's a little on the older side, 25 years old, but he's a lot like Ruben Bank. Great motor, very aggressive, loves to play football. So I'll go with Akeem Mesidor here.
Okay, Akeem Mesidor, the Miami defensive end, can also kick inside and play defensive tackle on like rush packages. Up next for me are the San Francisco 49ers. Their needs are O-line, edge, wide receiver, defensive line. I think this is a really obvious pick. We know that their offensive line is getting up there. I'm going to take the versatile Caleb Lomu from Utah. A lot of people like him early. He's a little light. He can put on some weight and can really move all over the offensive line. Caleb Lomu from Utah. Up next, Tom, the Houston Texans need O-line. Good Lord, do they need O-line? Defensive line, linebacker, and defensive back.
With the Texans, here's the thing. You're right. They do need O-line. The Texans, they re-up C.J. Stroud, which I'm still scratching my head about that, which means they need better protection. Houston's offensive line has been horrible the past 3 seasons. I like Caden Proctor out of Alabama.
He's gone. He was taken.
I knew that was going to happen. I almost made it all the way through it, Adam.
He's with the Eagles now.
Blake Miller. Just take Blake Miller and run.
Okay, we're going with Blake Miller and run. I almost made it. There's only like 3 more picks left, and I almost made it. All right, my bad. Go ahead. There we go.
All right, there you go. Blake Miller from Clemson, left tackle.
I've only got 1 more pick. I almost made it. All right.
All right, Ed. The Kansas City Chiefs for their second pick. They took in the first round. We had the Chiefs going with Mansour Delane to fill that hole at corner. They still need wide receiver, which has you still have Denzel Boston from Washington on the board. Edge, a lot of the first round edges are gone, and running back.
Yeah,
they could double up at corner.
They could, and I was just going to go there, and I think they could go that direction and maybe go with an Avion Terrell, someone that can play in the slot, to bolster that defense. So give me Avion Terrell to the Chiefs at that pick.
I like that pick a lot. All right. So Avion Terrell from Clemson. My autocorrect on the slot. All right, my last pick, because Tom and Ed are going to wrap us up. The Miami Dolphins again have holes absolutely everywhere. If this was Madden, they might start off at like a 62. They are terrible. Their first pick for the Dolphins was Reuben Bain, the hometown defensive end out of Miami. They need help at wide receiver, corner. They took edge. They do need O-line. I struggle with this one. I think they've traded everybody in the wide receiver room, so they could go Denzel Boston out of Washington, the wide receiver. But the problem is they can't do anything on the offensive line. This one was interesting. I think I might go because I don't like Denzel Boston's 40 time at all. I'm going to take Max Ihenikor, the offensive tackle out of ASU. He is mocked very often right here around like pick 32 to 33. Could be the first one off the board in round 2 to give a blindside protector to Francisco Mendoza. But I'm going to take Max Ihenikor from ASU.
All right. Me?
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's Tom for the
me.
New England Patriots, his second favorite team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. The Patriots, they gave up 21 sacks on Drake May over the 4 postseason games, including 5 in the Super Bowl. The Patriots need to add padding and pass protection. I mean, Caleb Lemieux out of Utah,
he's gone. He's gone.
Dang it. Gosh,
he went to the Niners. If you're going to go offensive line, you've got Emmanuel Pregno from Oregon, Chase Vizantis, the guard from A&M.
Emmanuel Pregno from Oregon. That's my pick because he's great. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with him. Yep.
All right. He's a good, he's kind of the only other, he's really the only other
I should have toggled.
First round.
I should have toggled. I didn't toggle. I was toggling. I stopped toggling. Go ahead.
All right. So Emmanuel Pregno, the offensive guard from Oregon. Lots of smoke coming out from Shefty this week, Ed, about AJ Brown going to the Patriots post June 1st.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that, Ed. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's not a surprise. I've been saying since the season ended, AJ's not going to be here. It's just a matter. You have to wait till June 1st because the salary. It's impossible to trade him before then without taking.
What kind of comp do you think they're going to get? Like a third or a fourth rounder?
Oh no, I think they'll get a first rounder from New England in next year's draft. Listen, we've seen some trades this year with DJ Moore getting traded for a first. I mean, AJ Brown's a good receiver. He's a Hall of Fame type receiver.
He's up there.
They're not going to let him go for a third or a fourth. They're going to get. I think they're going to get a first round pick from the Patriots in 2027. I really believe that, or even 2028. So, I think that's what's going to happen. They'll get a first rounder next year.
They'll get a first.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if they try to go more of first off, the 27 draft in early breakouts looks unbelievable. So if they can pull a first for next year, I would rather have a second in next year's draft than a first in 28 because next year's draft looks absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple GMs about this draft, and I know that the Eagles only have, I think, 15 players with first round grades on them. So that's the type of draft it is. And, that's why I think, there might be some smoke to them trying to get into the top 15 because
it is better than last year. Last year was awful. So I only had, I think, 11 guys with first round grades. Next year's class is going to be one for the ages.
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of out of the super senior era. So the last pick, Ed, Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks, running back, Mike Washington, maybe. O-line is pretty depleted. Defensive back, you've got Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. You package him with Eman Worry. Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Corner.
I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing the running back because to me it's obvious. You lost the Super Bowl.
That's right.
MVP, Kenneth Walker.
They lost the MVP.
And I know you're high on Mike Washington.
Mike Washington, I like Jadarian Price. Mike Washington,
that's who I'm going with. I'm going to go with Jadarian Price from Notre Dame. I like Jadarian Price. I think, you also, you lost the kid from Rutgers, Pacheco, I think, left too, right, from the Chiefs. I think he left in free agency. So you need another running back.
Where did he sign? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'd have to
check. Let me go throw one more name in here for Tennessee, because we're a Tennessee family here. My wife, big Tennessee fan. I love Tennessee. A lot of Tennessee fans that listen to us. Colton Hood. What do you think about Colton Hood with cornerback to the Seattle Seahawks? That's just an alternate. It's not to replace your pick, Ed, but I'm just thoughts.
Yeah, they could go corner. They lost Reek Witherspoon, right?
Yeah. Yes, they did.
He signed with the Eagles. They kept Josh Jobe, who was a former undrafted player from the Eagles. They liked him better than Witherspoon, obviously. But yeah, they could use some cornerback help. I just think when you lose your Super Bowl MVP running back, you need something to replace him.
They do have their other running back.
Charbonneau.
Charbonnet. Charbonnet was hurt for the Super Bowl.
Everybody knows it's Sharpie.
The other thing I did want to point out, Ed, is Jadarian Price has a ton of tread left on his tires.
Yeah,
because he was in a combined backfield with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
he's got a lot that he can still show that we haven't even seen on tape yet.
Yeah, I think he makes perfect sense for the Seahawks. And by the way, Pacheco went to the Lions.
Went to the Lions. Right. I just looked that up. Yep.
Yeah, he's gone. So, so I think a running back makes just too much sense. I like, Colton Hood from Tennessee. I'm sure he'll go off the board early in the second round.
I will say this. If the draft shakes out like this, first pick, second round, Las Vegas Raiders draft Denzel Boston, University of Washington, to give Fernando somebody to throw.
Well, I wish we had time for the day 2 or the second round. We are going to be doing a sequel to this, dot 2, if you will. We're going to be giving our grades, and we're going to be comparing how our board actually shaked up to the real board on draft day, of course, starting Thursday out in Vegas. Now, let's get to this, and then we're going to wrap it up and put a bow on it, guys. First of all, Mike Tomlin, and I think I texted this out to you guys, joins the NBC Sunday Night NFL pregame show series. So around the board, we'll start with you, Ed. Mike Tomlin to the broadcaster booth. Really no surprise there, because that's bound to happen to who, especially if you're a Mike Tomlin, that's bound to happen. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a good chance for him to show, his personality a little bit. I like the press conferences Tomlin had. He always had a little humor to them, but he's always buttoned down. So we'll see if he can let it fly on, and entertain national TV audiences. I've quoted him a lot this off season when it comes to A.J. Brown. Tomlin used to say, look, we don't want prisoners. We don't want hostages. We want volunteers. So, A.J. Brown doesn't want to be held prisoner to the Eagles, but they want guys that can play. And if A.J. Brown doesn't want to play for Philly, then so be it. So Tomlin said something like that. I'm probably butchering that quote, but that's the gist of it.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Tomlin's going to be a good fit. I think he'll be there for 1 year, and then he's peacing out. He's going to be somebody else's coach and following one season.
Okay, guys, we're going to go around the horn. I'll give you guys about a minute each. And I'm going to go last because I had no first round picks here with the Colts. But we're going to go Ed with the Eagles. Give us your handy dandy draft room notebook. I know you'll be there at is it still the Nova Care Center? But I know you'll be there in the building eating some good food, and they'll probably Howie will probably reach out to you, say, hey, Ed, what are we doing here, Ed? And you're going to have to step up. So you got your handy dandy Eagles notebook there ready for draft. What do you got?
Yeah, well, first of all, it is no longer the NovaCare Complex.
Okay.
They changed
I don't keep track of that.
Yeah, it's the Jefferson Health Training Complex.
Okay. Well,
I still have to get used to that.
In the medical field, I reckon.
Yeah. But, my draft notebook, I think the Eagles, they have 4 picks in the top 100, and I think the positions they're going to go with is offensive line, tight end, safety, and defensive line somewhere, whether it's tackle or edge. I think those are the 4 positions they need to address, and I think that they will in some order. We'll see how it is. I think offensive line is prudent because of what I mentioned earlier during our mock draft. But yeah, I think those 4 positions are ones to keep an eye on for the Eagles. And of course, trades. Howie Roseman loves to trade up. In the last 10 drafts, he's traded up 7 times in the last 10 drafts.
Yes, absolutely. And it's paid off. As we've talked about on the show, on the normal show, Ed, the Eagles are always playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ed. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, yeah, that's correct. I mean, I could see them if a player they really like begins to slip and they can't hit that home run trade to get into the top 15, I could see them creeping up a couple spots, maybe to get an offensive lineman if Freeling's there. Now I know Adam had him going in the top 6, I think, the 6th overall pick. But if they see or even Kenyon Sadiq, if he's sitting there and they think the Panthers are going to grab him, maybe they try to go up to get Sadiq. But it's been a long time since they've taken a tight end in the first round. Last one was 1988, Keith Jackson out of Oklahoma. They've never taken a safety in the first round, so I'm not sure they'd go up to get Thieneman, but they could use a safety. So I really think it's going to be an offensive lineman with that first pick. It's just a matter of who.
Adam Jividen, super Browns fan, give us your outlook of the Browns draft for 2026.
I think if the draft played out the way that it went in this mock, we ended up with Freeling and Concepcion.
We know it's going to be. Our draft board is going to be identical. I bet we get 99% right. Go ahead, buddy.
I think from as a Browns fan here, my ideal win is Jerry Jones. We talked about loves to go hit home runs. Let Jerry go hit his home run. Move from 6 to 12. We get 12. We get 20. We give up our 2nd round pick and we get the Cowboys first next year. The Browns have 2 firsts to go solve the quarterback problem. They can still end up with a wide receiver. Monroe Freeling probably at 12 can still end up with a wide receiver at 20 and then have 2 firsts in next year's draft as well. That's the grand slam. I think the Browns, they need bites at the apple. If Shador likely shows that he is not the quarterback of the future, go arm up so you can go get your quarterback next year.
All right, well, here it is for me. Going into round 2, we don't have I've licked my wounds. It is what it is. Sauce Gardner. I guess I wouldn't have been so upset if Sauce Gardner hadn't got hurt. He got hurt, but nonetheless, we gave up our first round and we went for it all. We've got new owners, still a lot of ground to pave. Leadership has said, hey, we're going to give you a little bit more rope here, Chris Ballard.
Still have to just fire him. Just fire him.
Well, we'll get into that in the other show, but I don't necessarily disagree with you. But the Colts entered the 2026 NFL draft without a first round, having traded again to the New York Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner. They're currently at number 47 overall. Now, and I know I watched it. Adam, I don't know if you watched it. It's available online and on the app. But I watched the presser this week with Chris Ballard, and he basically said he's expected to prioritize defense and depth, particularly linebacker, edge rusher, and wide receiver. And, I won't go through all the graphs that he did, but he goes, if we've got a player up here and we got a player down here, it makes no sense for us to look at a player down here. Well, the problem is, those players down here are the players, so he should be moving things around. So here's the thing. We really need to get a linebacker. Following the trade of Zaire Franklin and the departure of E.J. Speed, we need an edge rusher. So here's where I look at them go to. A lot of people are saying Anthony Hill Jr. of Texas will be a good one to go with. Maybe Jacob Rodriguez. Those would be the top ones there. And then we currently hold selections in round number 2, obviously, in the number 47, round number 3 in the 78, round number 4 and 113, round number 5 and 156. And then we've got something via the Steelers. And then we've got a compensatory pick in round 7. So, I mean, Ballard has a history of trading down. That's no secret, to accumulate more picks, which, so it's hard to pick, but maybe I like to go with another guy from Tennessee, Chris Pazel. So I would just say watch for the Colts to potentially use their round 2 on a falling first round talent. as Ballard often values high ceiling traits. And we'll see what happens if he gets to make it to another contract. But Ursay Gordon, the Carly Ursay Gordon,
yep.
Ursay Gordon. Yeah, she likes to be called by that full name. So yeah, watch for that to happen. So we'll see. Again, when we get back for our regroup in .2, we'll see how the Colts actually did. So
I'm going to tell you, I don't care who the Colts draft. They're getting an F for keeping Chris Ballard to ruin another draft.
No matter who they pick.
Doesn't matter. They could end up with the Ohio State National Championship roster. He still gets an F for still being around.
The good thing is Daniel Jones is back to throwing. So, Daniel Jones will be there. I have a lot of optimism. I do every year, as any fan should. Guys, this has been great. I've had so much fun. I almost made it all the way to the end without picking somebody that's already been picked.
And you did it twice in the last 2 picks.
I stopped toggling. That's what it was. I was trying to, zig when I should have zagged. As a really great host that I am, world famous host that I am, I have to stay ahead of the game and know what's coming next. And so I got to have things ready for the next one. So it came down time. I had to make a choice whether to toggle or get ready for the rest of this great sounding show. I appreciate everybody. You guys make this show, make me look better. So that's for sure. Appreciate Melissa for jumping on board. She's behind the scenes and handling our social media. Ed Kratz, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles and SI.com. Any final thoughts for us, sir?
No, I would say that the Eagles, I'd like to see the Eagles give up a 5th-round pick for Kenny Moore. I'd love to see Kenny Moore come play in Philadelphia.
I'd like to see that too, since he's not going to be here anymore, but go ahead.
No, yeah, and I don't know if they'd do that, maybe a 6th-rounder, but, we'll see. I know Howie, they have 8 picks going into this thing. We'll see what he comes out of it with. He always moves around. He's going to make a lot of trades, and it's always tough to keep track of what's going through his head.
Adam Jividen, any final thoughts for us?
I'm just looking forward to it. We'll have some live reactions throughout the draft on Thursday.
Yes.
So looking forward. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
We're going to have a lot of fun with it, guys, and I appreciate you coming on. And this is going to be dropped here in just a matter of moments, and it's going to be out there in the universe. And we are going to have a .2 draft special where we're going to grade our picks against what the NFL did, and I almost guarantee you $1 to a bag of donuts that we are at least 90% or higher. Ed, you got any over or under 90% or higher?
I'm gonna go just a tad under, Tom. Just a tad, though. Just a tad.
Adam, over or under 90%.
We'll be under. I'm gonna be honest. This is more of the what should they do in some cases, and there's a lot of stupid GMs.
A lot of head scratching goes on. Yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll be talking soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you.
Thanks, Ed.